Good day. We are the Team Quad Squad, and for today we are going to discuss the concept of activity-based learning that we've planned with regards to the topic of cognitive and or perception theory that we have discussed throughout the semester. Cognitive and or perception theory. It is simply defined as our thinking process. It describes the very act of acquiring knowledge through perception, thinking, and imagination, remembering, judging, and problem solving and selective attention. Thus, it attempts to explain human behavior by studying the mental processes involved when trying to learn and understand. Perception, on the other hand, is the process of selecting, organizing, and interpreting stimuli. Stimuli is a thing or event that evoke a response. Halimbawa na lang is yung failing grades. Ang stimuli dito is yung failing grades. So, as a result, ang response dito ng ating learner is to study hard para makabawi siya sa next semester or next quarter exam. There are several topics or subtopics under the cognitive and perception theory. These are the following. First is the Gestalt psychology. This describes the perception as an important part of learning, wherein this assumes that perception is the basis of learning and it is the process where we organize or see the relationships among the stimulus. This also tells the educational communication that the effective message organization is important in learning. So, Gestalt psychology is a school of thought that looks at the human mind and behavior as a whole. When trying to make sense of the world around us, Gestalt psychology suggests that we do not simply focus on small components. Instead, our minds tend to perceive objects as elements of more complex systems. Kumbaga, we are not focusing on small details only. Being neutral or nagsistick lang sa isang knowledge, but instead, it has been said that we perceive these knowledges as more broadly and complex, where we explore and knowing every details, even digging deep knowledges that are more knowledgeable. Next is the Lewin's life space. This describes the human behavior and motivation. Under this is that individual has life space, a psychological world that they carries within they moves. This also consists our goals, values, wishes, attitudes, and the environment which they are reacting to. So a life space contains the individual himself, the goals he is seeking, positive or negative balancement, the barriers that restrict the individual's movements, and the paths he must follow to reach his goals. So, ang tinutukoy dito na life space is the another space or our psychological world that consists our goals, values, wishes, and attitudes, maliban pa dun sa personal space. Next is the Thomas Cognitive Map. It describes memory. We learn ideas and behavior that help us attain our goals. This theory points out that expectations or goals are considered as important factors that shape learning. Thus, educational communicators must relate the materials to be learned to the learner's goals. So, the idea of latent learning was not original to Tolman. However, he developed it further. Edward Tolman argued that humans engage in this type of learning every day as we drive or walk the same route daily and learn the locations of various buildings and objects. So, for example, ako, tuwing nagbumabiyahe ako, dahil nga siguro sa pabalik-balik na akong nagbumabiyahe, natatandaan ko na yung mga buildings, yung mga objects, yung mga pagkakasunod-sunod dun sa lugar na yon. Tolman conducted experiments with rats and mazes to examine the role that reinforcement plays in the way that rats learn their way through complex mazes. So, The Thomas cognitive map is basically talks about or describes memory or memorization that we learn through memorization or even trial and errors. Next is the functional learning principles. These are the set of guidelines of preparing learners to respond in the appropriate way in the learning situation. So these are principles that find direct application or thought through problem solving. Cybernetic learning. It is underpinned by the notion of circularity and feedback between a system and its environment, or a system that regulates its functions and consequently adapts to his or her environment based on the feedback he or she receives from such environment. And lastly, the learning principles for effective communication are run through. Presented here are the guidelines for enhancing learning in all learning situations.
So let us move on with the activity-based learning, the Amazing Academic Race Challenge. What is Amazing Race? Amazing Race is an effective method for teaching learners different concepts from fundamentals to in-depth information. Why Amazing Race Academic Race? As teaching methods have evolved over time, there is now a greater and more significant emphasis on developing up with innovative ways to help our learners meet the learning objectives we have set for the intended outcome. So we use the method of Amazing Race as a challenge for our activity-based learning dahil sa paraang ito mas madali nitong matututo ang mga bata or kadalasan kasi maraming kabataan ang madaling matuto sa paraang ito. Ang mga kabata kasi sa panahon ngayon, mas gusto nila yung paraang masisiyahan sila habang natututo. Kaya isa ito sa naging paraan sa pagtuturo sa mga kabataang sa panahon ngayon. So we have here the reasons why do Amazing Academic Race is used for our activity-based learning. The first one is for the experiential learning, where the students apply their language skills outside the classroom, and through this, the students will have fun while they are learning. Next is the 21st century skills, wherein the students are being challenged to use creativity, critical thinking, communication, and collaboration. Another one is the differentiated instruction, where there are different ways or different learning styles that they will meet. Another is the collaboration inquiry, where the students will learn and practice some important collaboration skill, where it can lead them to have the opportunity for their leadership development. And last is for the community, wherein this format allows the students to explore more closely in schools and depends on flexibility the community around their schools. So, next is the idea of the activity. So, ang Amazing Academic Race na ginawa namin ay para sa team players na maaaring may 2 to 4 players, pero sa kinandak naming activity, nagkaroon kami ng 2 team na may tig-4 na members ang isang team. They are needed to accomplish their tasks in every stages, at ang sino mang mauna ang siyang mananalo. Sa every stage ay may gagawin silang tasks. After those tasks, bibigyan sila ng mga facilitators ng mga random letters para buuin ito sa huli nilang task. And lastly, sa bawat stages ng mga larong iyon, makikita nila doon yung epekto kung paano ang learning processes ay makakatulong para sa mga learners.
These are the challenges in the Amazing Academic Race. First challenge is problem solving. Can you solve me? These are the instructions. In this game, each team must have a representative for this challenge. The challenge is about solving the problem and that the facilitator will give to them when the game starts. They will be given a piece of paper to pick a paper that consists of division or multiplication type of equation and answer it. After that, they must answer the equation and they must show it to the facilitators to see if their answer is correct. If their answer is correct, They will receive a paper that consists of the letter that they will use in their last challenge. If they are wrong, they must answer it right until they make it right. Then they will move on into the second challenge, which is observing and identifying emotions, which is charades. Instructions. In this challenge, a representative of this challenge must start to play this game. The facilitator will show them a word that the player will act for the others to guess it. If they guess it right, they will be given another paper that consists of the letter that they will use in their last challenge. After finishing the second challenge, up to the next is the third challenge, which is puzzle map, world continent. World continent map quiz game. Instructions. In this challenge, the players are given a chance to remember the places of the right arrangement of the puzzle. Then the player will fix the puzzle that the facilitator will give to them. The puzzle is about the continents, and if you know the world map, it will be easy for the players to arrange it. And if they fix it correctly, they will be given another piece of paper that consists of the letter that they will use in their last challenge. After finishing the puzzle map, they will go to the next station, which is the fourth challenge, which is color wheel game. Instructions. In this challenge, with the aid of the facilitator, the participant or representative is told to be able to create a 6-point color wheel. The representative will be given a chance to remember the arrangement of the colors from the visual aid of the facilitator. The first to get the right arrangement of colors will be given a piece of paper consist of a word that they will use in their last challenge. The other group will be given a chance to finish, or if it is wrong, they will be given another piece of paper to correct their color arrangements. And after that, they will be able to go to the last and final challenge, which is fill me the right answer. Instructions. This is the final challenge. There are pieces of paper that consist of the words that are all to be able to create a word and fill this to the questions given from the facilitator to be able to create a whole vocabulary sentences. The first to be able to complete the challenge is the winner and rewarded. Rewarded. In this game, participants are able to enjoy a different kind of learning through playing.
Good day, everyone. I am Eliza Marie A. Luzon, and I will be discuss the concept derived from the course. The stage one game, the game problem solving, which are related to the topic learning principles to affect effective communication. A run, a run through by adopting this game, participants are able to enhance their creative type of learning, characterized by high learning development, and as well as help learners to identify, clarify, and define problems by themselves by positioning through question and by providing them exercise on problem identification. Through courage, learnings to give suggestion for solving problems and direct participant to the resource of information bearing on the problems so they foster to critical attitude towards the suggestion so that the learner can be properly evaluate and test them before final accepting solution. So our stage one game is about problem solving situation, which is for us, it will help the learners to identify, to socialize, to communicate to their group, to their members, if their answer is correct, if their answer is enough to pass the stage, and of course, they will be analyze and clarify and use their critical thinking situation in that stage to solve the problem that they have on stage one. The second concept derived from the course is that Surge is related to cybernetic learning because cybernetic theory suggests that communicators can play an important role in such situation by sensitizing to those environmental feedback that are hampering development in their communities. By playing Surge, participants are able to identify and adapt to his or her environment. Third is the puzzle map is connected to Tolman's cognitive theory because we are remembered by performing cognitive maps in our minds. That educational communicator can also make remembering easier for learners by improving them with keys or patterns for remembering. And by doing this activity, we help the participant to develop their ability to solve puzzle map and to enhance their memorization skills. Fourth, the color wheel, writing their goals is a circular agreement of colors organized by their chromatic relationship between one another. The primary colors are equidistant from each other on the wheel, and the secondary and tertiary colors is sit between them. By doing this activity, we adapt that the Lewis life space because we help the participant to know their goals and set guides on how to achieve it. Yes, and the last, in Gestalt physiology, we decided the activity is fill in the blanks. The goal for the learners to apply the knowledge that they already acquired. Fill in the blanks. Questions are not open-based, which means that the learner must be able to use the information they have mastered during the lessons to correctly answer. This suggestion that the elements that from close object we will perceive as a group. We will even feel the missing information to create closer and make sense of an object. An example of the Gestalt physiology principles is using negative space to invite to give the illusion that a particular shape exists when it doesn't. Just like fill in the blanks, we might put answer in a wrong place. That is why we aim to help the learners or the student to enhance their thinking, observation, and apply the knowledge and already know. At this stage, naisip namin na ilagay siya para may apply ng mga learners yung mga informations and yung knowledge na natutunan nila sa apat na stages na um, napagdaanan nila. And we're hoping at thank God na, na naobserbahan naman namin na lahat naman ng stages na yon is nai-apply nila sa last stage ng aming activities. And we're so thankful na kahit papano or kahit paano may na-share kami and may natutunan sila sa amin dito sa stage na to na kung saan yung thinking, yung observation, yung how they easily applied their learning um, is sobrang nakaka-overwhelmed. Functional learning principles is overall concept of the game Amazing Race Academic Edition for the cognitive perception theory because it has everything in it from memorization, problem solving, color observing, fill in blanks. This helped the participant to enjoy study while doing fun and different activities. That is different from the traditional type of teaching. Yes, I agree. And I also want to share na um, habang ginagawa namin yung activity, nakakatuwa na we share the experience, we share knowledge, and also yung pinaka nakaka-overwhelm dun is kinig sila and pinakikinggan nila bawat instruction. We observe that the communication within the group is nandun. Nandun yung pagkakaisa, nandun yung pag-uusap, and nakaka-overwhelm na natapos namin siya. And yun nga, it's fun. It's fun na makapag-share and malaman mo na may natuto. And that's all of our discussion. Thank you very much for listening.